Pull up a chair. This is Fluxtaposed, episode 218, recorded on July 3rd, 2018. But it's not. It's actually July 4th. Surprise! On the talking today, IRL, Netflixation, which was Cargo. Get caught up on what you're playing. Free train. Floors. Finally, we'll close out the show with the community grab bag and that sweet, awkward finish. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the show. Yes! At first, I'm like, I don't know if Lucas is playing anything. I don't know if he's not, but I like it. I like it.
It's really low for some reason. No one knows the reason, but it is.
Yes! Yes. What is up? Welcome to Fluxtaposed. I am Jason Lacey. That's Lucas Rose. Hi, Lucas.
Hey, buddy. Sorry, I'm just rocking out.
I'm feeling more American already.
I am quite feeling patriotic.
Just gonna dance.
Just gonna dance.
You have yourself a Freedom Ale? Just open a Freedom Ale? Nope. That is not. That is definitely.
Don't
not.
tell anyone I'm drinking a LaCroix, please.
I have empty cans of those all over the place.
Oh my gosh! Empty cans, empty dreams, memories of flavors long gone.
That's right. Hey, we're a day late, but we're not short. This is Fluxtaposed. Welcome to another episode. We hope your 4th of July is treating you well. We are big loser faces, and we're recording this podcast and streaming it live on youtube.com/Fluxtaposed.
Yeah.
On the 4th of July. It's going to be interesting because probably you'll hear a bunch of fireworks going off on my side of things in about, well, I'm surprised they're not going off already. My neighborhood's been lighting them off left and right, but
good Lord, that's close.
I think the actual fireworks show goes sometime tonight. Dude, 427's in the chat. How's it going, man? Hope you're doing well.
Hey, a person to watch us.
We were convinced no one was going to even come because it's a weird day.
Yes. Yeah, I was laughing because I don't know if anybody heard it, but there was a accidental remix of Push It to the Limit towards the end there. So what happened was, for some reason, it's showing that song, the Wolverine song, if you missed it, was playing. So I pressed stop just in case it just randomly started playing, and it lied to me. It wasn't playing at all. So then when I pressed stop, it actually started. It was reversed. We call that an Easter egg where I come from. So
ooh,
that's a freedom Easter egg for you.
That's one heck of a throwback.
Thank you
for you longtime listeners.
That's yes. We're bringing it back.
Speaking of listeners, I think Wild Dan Anthony is in the chat.
Whoa, rarely seen, but often heard,
but never forgotten.
That's true.
He listened to like 3 episodes in one day, he said last week, because he had to catch up.
Does a man... That's like spending 6 hours with us in real life, and that just sounds horrible.
Our families don't even want to do that, Dan.
There's a reason we're down here on July 4th. Arguably one of the most familiest times of the year. Second to only Christmas.
And we're neglecting ours.
Yes, exactly.
Well, to be fair, my son is in bed, so that really limits, his bedtime is like 7 o'clock. So that kind of limits any 4th of July festivities we're going to do.
I keep texting him saying, hey, why don't you stay up and party with us? But he's just like, no, I'm just going to go to bed. I got to work tomorrow.
I'm going to be so screwed up all week because I feel like today's Sunday.
Yeah, that's been happening to me a little bit too.
I got to go back to work tomorrow.
Boo. By the way, if anyone can hear that buzzing, I'm sure you can. I'm guessing we located the source of the buzzing. I don't know if I've talked about this before, but my microphone was doing a weird buzzing noise that we could never figure out what was going on. Turns out when you turn on a light upstairs in my son's room, it causes my microphone to buzz. So
I don't hear it.
I can. I know it's there. So it's
I always know.
It was a pain to track down.
The shadow knows.
Ooh, don't use auto fryer, or I'll know.
Auto fry.
Fry. Yes. Now it's just going. Now it's just getting.
It's
bad.
gone.
What
it's
is this
gone.
drunk cast?
Hey, I do have some exciting news because finally, the promo has succumbed. Someone has fallen into the clutches of the Patreon promo, and we have someone that has signed up this month. So that means someone's guaranteed to win a shirt right now.
Wow.
So the June promo is now the July promo. End of July, we're giving a shirt away. It could be you. Could be you.
It could be. It could be.
Or it could be this other guy.
You lucky dogs.
Do you want that? I don't know. So details, patreon.com/Fluxtaposed. Dan also says that's the next Patreon tier, right? 6 hours with Lucas and Jason. That's right. You get the next. You get the next tier. You get a private live stream with us.
Mm-hmm.
You thought cam girls required a lot of tokens? You ain't seen nothing yet.
You ain't seen nothing yet.
Lucas might have given you some previews on past streams with some belly and
there was
buttocks
some crack.
action.
There was some belly, little bowl of oatmeal going.
A little bit of that. Lucas, I think we got a lot to talk about tonight, though. So, and I know people, if you're on our Discord, you've already gotten a little preview of what Lucas has been up to.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys already know, but the rest of you should probably join the Discord so you can see that. Details are on our website. There's a little button that says join us on Discord. Boom, gets you there. But Lucas, tell us about your project.
Yeah. So I was talking about I was going to redo my floors finally over the weekend, and it has been completed. Well, the first stage of project redoing the living room / basically the first floor is complete. So here's how we broke it down. My wife came up with this so that I could remember what was when. It was sanding Saturday, staining Sunday, and then Monday was a tough one, but she came up with membrane Monday. So that's when we did the polyurethane. It's kind of a membrane, right? It's insane. It's in the membrane.
It's just another membrane Monday.
Ooh-oh. We are very musical.
Mm-hmm.
And I love it.
It's because I'm wearing a tank top. It gives me a +2 to musicality.
You're the greatest showman.
And it gives all the people watching a +3 to blindness. Because all the light reflecting off of my pearly skin.
You're like, everyone's like, turn those lights off, and it's just my monitor, guys. It's just reflecting off of me. Don't detract from my fascinating story with your sexy body, please. It's not the first time. It won't be the last time. But could you just tone it down?
I'm sorry.
So we sanded. That was a pain. Let me tell you. Here's some things I learned about doing the floor. They tell you, be afraid of the drum sander, right? They say, oh, man, that can chew up your floors. You got to be careful with that drum sander. And what that is just literally what it sounds like. It's a vacuum cleaner, basically. At least that's what it looks like. It's got a big old drum in there. It's got a sanding pad in there, and it just spins and spins. So you got to be careful, right? Well, that's not the one that can do the most damage, in my opinion. That would be the dreaded edger. Now, the edger is, when we went and rented it, this thing weighs like 40 pounds, or at least it felt like it did. It was a heavy piece of machinery that you're supposed to use by hand. And that just has a regular old disc for sanding, much like any...
Okay.
More like a grinder, I guess. Most sanders do kind of
yeah.
like the shimmy and shake and spin a little bit. This is more of a grinder type deal.
That's also one of my favorite apps to use.
Grinder? I bet it is. And so it was so heavy that my brother-in-law ended up helping me instead of Danette, because there was no way she was going to be able to use that thing. And plus, you can't really use it in any comfortable position. You pretty much are just like squatting over it like this on the ground.
Oh, God.
And for you audio listeners, you can't really tell what I'm doing, but basically you're squatting over it and rolling it around on the floor. So just imagine being in like a kneeling position for however long it takes to do 600 square feet. That thing was awful. It was chewing the floor, like the varnish up a little bit, and it was like swirling it into the, almost like it was melting it into the wood. So I had to come through and clean it up with a hand orbital sander, like a smaller typical one that you would use on projects. And it left a lot of circular strokes into the wood. What do I want to call those? Like you can see where it was sanding, so it's just swirl marks. That's what I'm trying to think of. Good Lord. Left a lot of swirl marks, which of course picked up the stain when I stained them. So they only got even more noticeable around the corners. So that thing was not good, man. It was tough. I don't know what was going on, but it definitely was the hardest part of the whole thing. Just multiple issues, not taking enough of the finish off, taking too much of the finish off. So then the two spots didn't blend along the edge of the wall to where the drum sander would go. So I got really worried about halfway in. I was convinced, basically, from what I can understand, everything looks like shit the whole time that you're doing it. And then you just kind of cross your fingers and hope that by the time you get out the other end, it looks halfway decent. So
you're just going to cover it with some shellac, and then it's just going to be fine.
A thick varnish. So they helped with that. And then once the sanding was over, that was day one. Then came the staining the next day. And, of course, lots of cleaning in between, constantly sweeping and vacuuming. And at some point I just had to be like, all right, I can't clean this any more than I already have. I have to continue on to the next step. Otherwise it's going to take me forever to do this. So finally, I stained, and that ended up being the worst part of the entire process because it was just me, which was fine because my wife took our son to her brother's and stayed there while I did this because it was too hot to be outside, really. You can't have Isaac running around on the first floor while you're trying to stain it. Like, that's not going to work.
Plus the fumes.
Yeah, the fumes were terrible. The stain, I thought the polyurethane was going to be bad, but the stain was by far the worst smelling. And it's kind of gotten better over time, but it still smells like that. So I stained it, and that was the worst. Just because, again, I had to be on my hands and knees, wiping this on with a cloth, and then edging in like around the trim with a brush, then coming back and wiping it off. And if you look closely, unfortunately, you can see kind of where I worked in each row. So I don't know why it didn't blend very well, because I tried to like overlap all of my rows so that there wouldn't be any missed spots and it wouldn't be obvious. But instead it kind of created almost like when you draw with markers and you just like line them up and then the ink kind of overlaps and then you get like a slightly darker row.
Yep.
Sort of like that. I'm sure once you get the furniture in and everything, it won't really be noticeable. Or maybe
once Cody and Isaac scuff it up a little bit, it'll be fine.
Yeah, exactly. I'm still waiting for the first real thing to happen. So we stained it, and by the I was barely done at 8 o'clock when it started like pouring outside for about 5 minutes randomly. We had all these like thunderstorm warnings.
Oh yeah, we had those thunderstorms move through in like 60-mile-per-hour wind suddenly.
Yeah, and then it was just gone. And all our furniture is outside under tarps, so that's great. Well, the table and stuff.
Oh God.
Because what else are you gonna do with it? You know, like, we don't. Our garage is already full up with other stuff. So, yeah, the stain was tough. I was ready to be done. I hurt so bad by the end of that night. So I got done with that. And then by that point, I was just like, well, we're finishing it. You know, come hell or high water, this is what's happening. So I get the polyurethane on there. That part wasn't too bad. It was just putting the second coat on that was tough because the first one is very obvious. It looks like it's very liquidy and it looks very obvious on the floor where you've been, where you haven't been. The second coat, though, it's already shiny from the first coat. So there's almost no difference between where you've applied it and where it's still dry from the first
Yeah.
coat. So I had to like bend down and look at it from certain angles to make sure that I got each individual row. Because I could only do about 3 boards each time. But yeah, all in all, now that it's done, I'm about 85% happy with the final product. I would have probably preferred to sand between polyurethane coats just to, like, you can almost see little dots where the wood is rougher, or maybe there was some air bubbles in there somehow that got in there. But overall, 85% happy with it. I don't know if I would ever do it again, though. It was tough, but it was worth it. In the end, it looks a lot better, and I'll probably post some side-by-sides of the once we get the trim up and repainted and everything.
Yeah.
Because having 2 different colored woods is really not a good look. Let's just put it that way. Now that it's not even close to the floor anymore. So we're painting that white right now. Danette's putting probably the second coat on right now, I'd imagine. And so that's getting done. Just the baseboards for now, and then we're going to do the windows and the doors and everything.
To the windows, to the doors.
Till the sweat drops off my...
shellac.
Boards? Yes. And then finally, we're going to finish on Thursday with a little furniture shopping. We got rid of that. You helped me move that couch.
I did.
And of course, that was a whole thing because they didn't even take it at Goodwill. They don't take hideaway beds in couches if it has those, because they said we don't sell mattresses. So I don't know what that means, but there you go.
So what did you end up doing with it?
It's still on the trailer. It's just sitting in our driveway. Everything's just piling up. We're those neighbors now. We're probably gonna rent a roll-off container, which is not cheap. It's like $200 for a week, but we can put in everything
Just
that we need
dump
to get
everything.
rid of. Yeah, because we've got stuff from like the door.
By the time
slider.
you would pay extra for item pickup.
Yeah, it's like $40 just for that.
Yeah, it's like 30, 40 per item, and they have to be a certain size. So
Yep.
I mean,
so I figured if we just saved up, we can get rid of our lawn stuff that we have in the back and just get rid of everything and then be done with it. So yeah, we're gonna get a love seat and a kind of like the Herman Miller chair that you have, but not that one. But you know how like they have those chair and ottoman sets, like glider rockers or whatever.
yeah,
And put those in there. So that's kind of our next steps. Just trying to finish the first floor. And then lastly, as it is the 4th of July, I mean, that's what I've pretty much had been doing, prepping or actually doing since
been your life
show.
lately.
Yeah, it was weird, especially not having the family around for 2 nights. That was horrible. But as far as today went, well, we were supposed to go to a parade, but then we slept in on accident and didn't end up going. And that was fun because we really wanted to go because Isaac's kind of like right at that sweet spot of like appreciating those.
Yeah.
And then we had some people coming over for, well, Derek and Brittany to come over for lunch, and I was gonna grill some
people.
They're not people. I was gonna grill some burgers, and our burger meat went bad. Our hamburger. So I look at it and I'm like, that doesn't smell right or look right. And sure enough, we look at the date. It's June 29th. So not even close.
Oh God.
Not even close. So I throw that away and I'm like, all right.
Had it too long or
just
misread a label?
We bought it on the 28th. I didn't even look at the label because it was pre-made stuff. So usually that pre-packaged stuff lasts a little bit longer because it's like vacuum sealed or whatever, as opposed to just being wrapped by Meyer or whatever.
So did you just go to Little Caesars?
No, surprisingly. I ran over to Aldi and picked up some of their pre-made burgers.
Mama Cozy's.
Oh gosh, those giant pizzas that barely fit in your
oven. Those pre-made patties are actually really good. I like those.
No, they weren't bad at all. And typically,
we get those all the time.
I don't like a burger that thick normally, but they actually cooked up pretty good.
Yeah, you do.
But here's the thing. Yes, that's true. I'm all about the thickness. Get down with the thickness. There you go. You know what helps cook the burgers, Jason? A little bit faster.
Propane accessories.
Propane and propane accessories. I ran out. I was looking at it. I put them on there, and I'm like, I don't think there's a fire down in there. So I looked at it. I'm like, oh, what the hell? And of course, there was no propane coming out because you don't hear the telltale sign. And ran out of freaking
Oh
propane.
my god.
And I had corn on the cob going on there too. Not the corn on the cob.
Corn on the cob.
So I was pissed about that.
Oh
And
my
then
god.
I'm like, well, guess I
Raw
gotta take them
meat.
in.
No pro.
No propane. And they ended up being pretty good actually for cooking on the inside on the.
I've had to do that
range.
before.
I don't prefer them that way, but you know what? If it's between a raw burger and a cooked one, I'm gonna go cooked every time.
That's right.
That's just what I prefer. So yeah, that was pretty much everything. Oh, and I had a lot of beer because I stocked up because I was like, if I'm gonna be here by myself working my ass off, I'm gonna want some beer.
I'm getting hammered when I'm doing it.
Funny thing about that though is I was so tired after the stain that I forced myself to drink one, and then I had 4 left over the next day. So
And then you fell asleep.
So I was like, yeah. And so I was like, well, I bought these beers for this project, so obviously I'm gonna have to drink the last 4 when I'm done tomorrow. And I did. I started drinking about when I got done, which was about 6:30 or 7, and then had me some beer. Had 4 beers. Hadn't done that in a long time. Regretted it, you know, because my stomach was like, "Why are you doing this to me?" But it was a good time. It was a good time. Had my all.
All right.
So
nice.
yeah, other than all of that, the what you playing is the other stuff I did. So we'll talk about that though in the appropriate section.
Appropriate section. All right. Myself, I just have to complain. It's been miserably hot, and that's been extremely impacting the ability to do anything. Like last weekend, we didn't even leave the house because we did, but we couldn't do anything. It's just so hot. It's miserable.
It is very miserable.
But we went to a parade today. We took Aiden to his first 4th of July parade, and it was sweltering hot. But I have to say, we pulled it off nicely because we got up early, took all our crap down, drove down. Like we live like 5 minutes from the parade route.
Mm-hmm.
So we loaded up my car, because my other car is getting the door fixed. So we took all our stuff down there, and then we picked a spot, put a blanket down, put her to we have like those little, they're like low sitting folding. They're like technically like beach chairs.
Yeah.
They have the shoulder straps too, so you can wear them like a backpack.
You lucky dog.
Yeah. So we took those down, found a spot, and then we went and checked out a craft show, and then it was like 9:30. It was like 10 o'clock at this point, and it doesn't start until the parade didn't start at 11. We're like, we're not sitting out here in this miserable weather for another hour. So we drove back home, and then got all Aiden's crap together again, and we rode our bikes back down there, and we thought to bring our beach umbrella, which was a godsend because so I'm holding the beach umbrella blocking the evil sun. We got Aiden recently like this fan. It's probably like I don't know how big that would be, so I can't really say.
I would say a 5-inch diameter.
That's pretty, yeah, about 5-6 diameter. It's a little fan that it's for strollers. It clips on, and it's either it can run off USB. I think USB the mini, so it can be USB powered. So if we have it, we can hook it up in the car, because we noticed like the airflow isn't really good in our back seat. So we got it to hook onto his car seat, but it's battery powered too, so you can just clip it on a stroller. So we had that too. So we had the beach umbrella, had the little fan. We were decked out, and then we left before it was over because we were miserably hot.
Question about the fan though: can it charge your vape pen?
No.
Damn it! Can it run off a vape pen? Because some of those ones are like power. Have you ever seen like it's like this little vape pen coming off from a giant power brick, basically?
Yes. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I've seen a lot of people on film sets where they'll just be like smoking and charging their phone. So you see this like wire coming off.
They're holding what looks like an Xbox power brick.
Yeah.
And they're smoking off of that.
Oh, it tastes like grapes. So good.
So it was hot. It was really hot. But then we had another funny incident where we got groceries last Saturday, and we were at Aldi, and Jess has been waiting for them to have it, and they finally had that in stock. A sun tent, a little UV sun tent for like the beach. You know, it's got the floor, and then it arches over, and you can sit inside of it, and it blocks the sun and everything. So they had one of those for $15. So we snagged it, And we brought it home, and Jess is like, let's open it up and see how it looks. And she opens it up, and of course like in the instructions, they show you this is how you open it. Just throw it,
Just
and
it
it just expands and opens up. So it like instantly takes up the entire living room, and they're like, oh God. So like we got to figure out how to like fold it back down because it fits in this tiny little thin carrying case. So we're like, and the instructions come with like IKEA pictures. It just shows these horribly drawn pictures of this guy folding it, and it's just in the bag. You're like, this makes no sense.
Even
so
the drawing doesn't know how to do it.
Yeah. Then we found it in the manual, like how to like descriptions, and we're still like, this makes no sense. We're both like fumbling with it, and then meanwhile, Aiden's like running around. What did he have at the time? He had, oh God, I can't remember what he's holding. He had one of his toys, and he's like, yelling and hitting. I don't remember if he's trying to hit us or the dog. He's like yelling, he's screaming, he's hitting things, he's hitting us, making all this noise. We're flustering with this sun tent. It's like a poster for contraception, and it's like a poster for birth control. Where we're like, we didn't get mad at each other though. We stayed cool. Then finally, Jess is like, I'm gonna go on YouTube. I was like, why did I think of that? Literally, first thing she finds, the top hit's got like 40,000 views, and this guy's like, yep, you just take it, and we're like, oh, fold it instantly, done.
You gotta fold it like a burrito.
Aiden's like losing his shit, going crazy. We're just like, oh my God, it was so funny.
Sometimes you just want to be like, kid, I need a minute, okay?
Oh God, yeah, he's wild, so wild, it's crazy. And last thing I finally got myself a shaving brush. So if you follow me on social media, you might already saw it. Now I'm that fancy guy. I got my shaving soap in my little cup, and I mix it all up, and I take the brush and
now do you do that in front of do you use your Bowie knife as a mirror, and you're just like,
yeah, right? Pretty soon now, I'm gonna get super hipster. All of a sudden I started just getting the single blade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna be
you have to sharpen on a piece of leather.
The demon barber of Fleet Street or whatever.
I have to say though, shaving soap is no joke. It's nice, man. It works really nice.
Hey, you don't have to justify your purchases to me.
But now I can get like 100 blades for like $5 off. No, 100 blades for like $10 off Amazon though.
Holy cow.
Compare that with like your disposables.
Thank you, China.
Yeah, right.
I have to imagine.
I actually the one our friend, a mutual friend of ours, Jared. I asked what kind he uses, and I think they're made in Russia. So you know they're good.
Whoa!
In Soviet Russia, razor shaves.
Wait, you shave razor? How does that work?
You shave razor.
Well, you don't have the 5 precision engineered German blades. Unfortunately,
I used to get those Harry's blades.
Yeah, actually I did. We ended up because my wife will
use code Fluxtaposed at checkout for
absolutely nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
She was always getting those cheap plastic razors, and so I was just like, you know what? I've heard enough ads for Harry's. It's worth just trying it for like $15 just to see.
Yeah,
and I tried it, and it's pretty good. I didn't mind it, but you can't leave them in the travel cover because they'll rust. That's the only problem, at least in our bathroom, because it doesn't have a fan or anything, so it gets really humid in there. So I'm trying it. I'm like, man, this actually doesn't really seem like that great. And then I looked at it. I'm like, oh, that's why. Never mind.
God. Yeah, that's the only thing I'm trying to figure out now is like the lifespan of a double-edged razor blade. Like how often you use it before you toss it and put a new blade in.
If it's just peeling your skin off, that's how you know.
Yeah.
That's when you. Yeah. That's when you know.
I know.
Look at you. You're a fancy gentleman. So how many man boxes are you getting in the mail each month? The
man boxes?
Yeah. Haven't you seen those Facebook ads where they're like, for men who give a damn? And it's always like.
Oh, God. No, because now I'm getting ads for is the West Coast Shaving Company.
Uh-oh. Is that what you bought this from?
No, I've been on their site before, though. I got, I can't remember where I bought this from. Oh, it was like the Italian Barber or something like that was the website I bought it from. But it was really, I'm pretty sure it's just a pop-up shop, where someone just started the website and they just, similar to how our Printful shop works. I'm pretty sure it's built on a Shopify store.
Oh, okay.
And they just, and they just do the fulfillment. I can't remember where I think it might have been a website I read this article on, but it was like an idea of how people like are people can make a crap ton of money off. They just run like they'll resell stuff through like they'll make it their own Shopify store and they resell merchandise that they buy. But you basically to like be really successful at it, you have to work all the time, and you're like all you're doing is like because you have to fulfill the shipments yourself.
Yeah.
So you're just like having to order, and you're just
it's like your own little eBay basically, except for there's no auction.
Exactly. But no, I've been on their site before. I can't remember. I don't know. There's a great thread on Reddit, a great community on Reddit that I use to reference all the stuff because they have a list of like bad gear you shouldn't get, and then they have recommended stuff, and yeah, it's probably totally a hipster thing to do, but I don't know. I enjoy it. I'm like,
you know what? If you like to take care of yourself, that's okay, Jason.
Well, I will say this though. Before I started using the double-edged safety razor, I would always get razor burn really bad on my neck. Would always get the red bumps that are sore, irritated. I would always get really bad razor burn from everything, and now I don't. So
must have been. Well, I mean, it's those Russian blades, man. They're sharp as
smooth, less irritation.
Exactly.
Okay, enough of this crap. Shall we talk some Netflixation?
Sure.
Finally.
We really need like
overdue.
I feel like anytime you say IRL or Netflixation, I'm like, we need a bumper thing.
We need
of
a
some
bumper.
Sort.
We could bring back the old Netflixation bumper. Or the
You let me go for way too long.
Yeah. Or what was the one on when Netflixation was his own podcast? We had it. Hi Tammy.
That's true.
Yeah, you had that one too. But yes, we watched finally. It's a good fit for the show. It's about a dad, right? We watched Cargo on Netflixation. I guess I should on Netflix for Netflixation. I should probably describe it for you because Cargo is a film that Netflix describes as. No, I don't want to see a commercial for Glow season 2.
You want to see Glow season 2, not a commercial.
I do at some point. Where is my list? Why can I not find my list? Oh, there it is. Okay, that's not going to work. I'm just going to type it in. Sorry. Bum, bum, bum. Cargo. Booyah. His options are limited and his time is running out. But his mission is crystal clear. Protect Rosie no matter what. I guarantee you this is going to be a better zombie movie than Day of the Dead Bloodline because that looks really.
I heard that was terrible.
That looks bad.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. And it stars Bilbo Baggins.
Well, Bilbo from the Hobbit trilogy.
Yeah.
All the cool kids call him a trilly.
Yeah.
So this was an interesting movie.
It was interesting
for being a zombie flick. I was kind of expecting a little.
There's not much zombie.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's not much like horror.
Yeah,
to it,
which is actually kind of refreshing. So just to give you guys the quick overview on the plot, we have a family. I think Andy was his name. His daughter Rosie, which appears to be probably less than 1. So she's just an infant. I don't remember the wife's name. They're traveling by houseboat through the on some river in Australia, and it's been clear that there's been it's a post-apocalyptic setting. Sorry, I wasn't sure if you were like telling me your name, and you're like,
okay, what did that?
Okay, gosh. And it's apparent that like the government they're somewhat preparing the people.
They were at some point
prepared. Yeah, they're at some point prepared because they have like disaster kits. They have like descriptions of symptoms, what to do if you encounter someone, everything.
A crash pack, like with a thing that murders you.
Yeah, essentially to take care of the problem.
If you find you've become a zombie, just stick this in your brain.
Yeah,
it'll be all better.
And I don't remember if they spelled out like where they're trying to head to, but as things always happen in a zombie movie, things don't go according to plan. And now let's just say Andy is forced to find someone to care for his daughter because he's going to die. And that's pretty much the premise of the film.
Yeah, they suffer from a honey overdose, which is quite clear when it comes.
yeah,
pouring out of their body. It's very sludgy. So, It kind of reminded me of The Last of Us a little bit, just because it was more storytelling and less. Here's a bunch of zombies.
And it wasn't like zombies in the terms of corpses. As much it was more like infected humans again.
Yeah, that's very true.
Which is nice. It's nice what we like to see different. And it was set in Australia.
Yes, it was.
You don't see that very much, now do you? I don't know what I'm doing.
You started that and you were like, I immediately
regret this decision.
Remember when I did that BioWare thing and I told you I read one of them in Australian or whatever, but I can't do it now because I don't even
Everything I learned about Australia is from Foster's commercials.
Yeah, that's true. I learned from...
You sound like that guy from Pirates of the Caribbean.
Who says, hello, Poppet. That's basically... Parlay! Yes, throw another... what is it? Throw another shrimp on the barbie. That's not a knife. And a dingo ate my baby. Those are all of the horribly offensive stereotypes.
Was that episode of The Simpsons? The punishment was the boot. The giant boot you kids get.
That's right. And then they'd walk up. Was that Australia or Scotland? Because I feel like
I think it was Australia because they're on the low because the toilets they made a big deal about how the toilets go the other way and they had the freedom something, this big device that would force the toilets to run the other way.
It's just not right.
Tammy, you don't want to hear his London accent. Give her a little taste. Lucas, talk about how happens when you go down to a foggy old London town with your...
Hello, I'm going down to foggy London town. I can't do it when I'm like...
You sound like a peasant from Warcraft.
Hello. Walk. Walk.
I'm dying.
Oh
now.
Boy. I'm dying too. I'm dead. What the hell were we talking about? Cargo. Cargo. Well, let's just talk about what we like.
I wish I had beer in that water right now.
I don't think we need it. I think you need some water. What did you like about the film, Jason? What did it do correctly?
Well, like I mentioned already, I like that it wasn't your typical zombie type of thing. We got to see a type of an infection versus reanimated corpses of that nature, or something that kills people and brings them, back to dead. Mm-hmm. Back to life from the dead, rather. So I did like that. I liked it was a new setting I haven't seen. We're much in the wilderness. To use that as a frame, it's a lot of it. It's
the outback.
The outback, exactly.
Steakhouse.
Well, typical. Most of our zombie films are in populated areas. They're in a city.
That's true.
Or it might be in a mall, or it might be somewhere less populated, like in the country. But we haven't seen something like this to this extent.
Yeah, they never hardly go into a city area at all that I can think of. He went to a small town, and even that you barely see anything.
Yeah. And I like its hyper focus on a single family unit, specifically the struggle of a father in a desperate situation to take care of his child. And maybe that just resonates with us so much because of who we are in life. Because I remember when I told Jess about it, I was like, oh, there's a zombie, because I've kind of got her more into the zombie genre because she does watch Fear the Walking Dead and Walking Dead with me. And she didn't used to, so I've kind of got her opened up to that a little bit more. I was like, oh, there's a zombie movie on Netflix. It's got Martin Freeman. You like him from, he's
Sherlock.
in Marvels. He's in Sherlock. He's in some of the Marvel movies. He's in Sherlock. You like him. She's like, you're going to watch a movie about a dad with a baby and he's like dying? No. So
I'm going to be watching you watch the movie. That'll be the most entertaining.
So I liked that, the hook that it had, the whole premise.
Yeah.
I think those are my three takeaways that I think
I was pretty surprised by, because I didn't know what to expect, and I was kind of let down by Ravenous. I talked about that because I was expecting sort of like here's the jump scares and the that type of thing. But I find because this happened in A Quiet Place too, where they kind of focus on the family first, and then the stuff that's happening around them is kind of the B story to a certain degree. And I feel like for me that works better in any movie. Is if you're going to have a family in it, let's have this family be actual characters, and then,
Yeah.
figure out the
Like
rest
we
of it
didn't
from
even
there.
see the first infected individual until what, like after half an hour in?
Yeah, something. Well, hints of them for sure, but
Yeah.
not. But they
Not
kind
the
of play
actual on
off from
screen.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Another thing that I thought was interesting was they don't really explain it that I remember, but other than saying they like need the darkness, but they the zombies, when you start turning, you have this insatiable drive to bury your head under the ground because you
Yeah.
need the darkness for some reason. Because they go in like hibernation mode or something. So they really did kind of act like enemies from a video game. I could totally see it. There's like a stealth section where you're trying not to
Yeah.
alert any of them and all this other stuff. Or they'll like face up against a wall
Yep.
too, which was really weird. So they have like this creepiness about them where they're not completely mindless. They're almost like have a hive mind type mentality
Yeah.
or something like that. So I thought that was really cool. Yeah, this one was a little tough for me because it's another one where not a whole lot stood out to me, but not a whole lot
Yeah.
was horrible with it either.
Hmm.
I thought Martin, um, oh
Gordon's
God,
brother.
Gordon, yeah, Martin Freeman. I always want to say Martin Short. I don't know why.
Not close enough.
Steve Martin Short Freeman. I thought he did okay, but it wasn't. I don't think it was his best performance.
Interesting role for him, though. I'd say based on things I've seen him in.
Yes,
So.
and I kind of wanted to. That was why I was curious as to this movie because I wanted to see how he would do in this type of role where it wasn't really action filled, but there are definitely. You know, I would say it's more action-y than some of the other stuff that he's been in. Well, besides maybe The Hobbit, I guess. But let's face it, Hobbits aren't fighting anybody anyways. So, yeah, that's pretty much what I liked anyways.
Okay.
That I can think of.
Well, let's talk about where it went wrong, in our opinions, what we didn't like. How could it be fixed? And for me, I don't know if it's so much whatever, but wrong, but I mean, this is kind of what we have to see in any of these films. It's like they always show that, okay, yes, the infected, the zombies, those aren't the real problem. The real problem is the horrible things that other humans are going to do to each other in these times. So of course we've got the bad guy that's gonna double cross you, or he's gonna make things hard for you. And it's that whole character. It's like, oh, we've seen this guy over and over and again. It just felt a bit too familiar.
Tropey.
Yeah, like definitely tropey. Because I mean, for instance, and again, as we always say in Netflixation, these are spoilers for people that haven't seen the film. For instance, when they steal the keys from him and he's sleeping, Andy has a gun, has a rifle. He could very easily take in the butt of his rifle and like hit him with it, knocked him unconscious,
or just shot him.
Or he could have shot him, and then there had been no issue with them escaping. You wouldn't have a death of another character, But again, I understand their movies have to have plot. You have to have things that happen.
Right. They can't always make sense.
Yeah, it can't always make sense. It can't always make sense. So, so I didn't care so much for that. I forgot to mention what the film did right. How cute was that baby?
Oh my gosh, that baby was amazing.
I don't know. I guess it's difficult for me because it's like, I know this wasn't like the best movie I'll ever watch, but I think for me it resonated on certain levels.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was about fatherhood. It was about the zombie. It hurts. Like there's some story beats there that resonate with me, and so that I kind of allows me to glance over things that probably aren't that great about it.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I don't know. I'm not a good critic,
Good thing you criticize movies every month.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I write down notes, because it's hard. Usually, I didn't this time because I barely fit it into my.
Well, I was able to fit this in a nap time viewing, so.
Oh wow!
Which was unexpected.
You're like, please don't wake up. I just got 5.
Oh no, he woke up in the last 15 minutes. Like.
Well, for one thing, I can definitely say is that I thought it was a little too long, just by like 10 or 15 minutes. There were a couple parts where I felt like towards the end where they're just wandering through
The
the
ending was a
trying to
bit
get to the
dragged out.
last
Yeah,
part.
I would definitely agree with that too.
Um, I would say too that I felt like the relationships between the the Martin's character and basically anybody else could have been fleshed out a little bit more, or
Hmm.
like had more of an impact. Like he meets that doctor character lady who apparently has
It was a
cancer,
teacher.
or a
Yeah,
teacher,
she was a
yeah.
teacher.
And really that only served as like, here, you have to go in this direction if you want to find
Yeah,
somebody who's gonna
or as like, oh, I was educating the Aborigines, and now they've gone back to their old way of life. Go
yeah.
find them, you know, because they have spears and they're much more equipped to deal with this than you, stupid, filthy casuals. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
I
and
think you know. Don't you feel like too like the setup was almost too long as well? Like it took a long time. We saw so much like at like the first 30, like there's that first whole 30 minutes of the
on
them
the houseboat thing.
on the houseboat, and then what happens, and then all of a sudden then it really takes off, and then yeah, like I think the last 20 minutes kind of
I
dragged
think the
too.
part where they finally go on land was the part that kind of felt like it dragged on. Like they get the car, and then you finally see, like, there's some cool parts where you see the first one coming up behind them, so that you could tell they wanted to really reveal these things in their own time. But I don't know. It doesn't really impress me that one zombie comes and attacks a guy when he's trying to fuel up a car anymore. You know what I mean? Like, that's not really a spectacle. So when you're about 30 minutes into the movie and you finally see one zombie come in and it's just one of those like wandering in from the background type deals,
Yeah,
um it's not, like we said at the kind of towards the beginning, I was surprised at how not scary it was, and it pretty much continues to not be scary the entire
yeah.
time.
Well, it's like everything The Walking Dead continues to do. You know, it's been on how many seasons now, and these people have been dealing with the zombie apocalypse for how many years? Yet zombies just like magically appear on top of them in the middle of the woods. They don't
Yeah.
hear the zombie crashing through the underbrush or making noise at all, and then all of a sudden they're getting it almost eaten. It's like, come on.
Yeah. And I'd say this movie has the opposite problem where it almost never really feels like the stakes are that high. Cuz obviously it's life and death, but when your characters are already bitten, once bitten twice shy, then it doesn't really feel like there's that much to, like, the highest stakes are that they don't make it to their destination, right? So you're not worried about whether or not anyone's going to
Yeah.
die or anything. So I think it kind of throws off the film. So it's kind of a nice change of pace, but I felt like it could have been handled a little bit better because, again, there's almost no. It just feels like there aren't really any stakes being raised or anything that's really happening that makes me feel like they're in danger. It's just like the
Yeah.
biggest problem was they couldn't find transportation that was reliable or whatever.
Yeah.
Um so yeah, I think there's just some fundamental filmmaking things that kind of made this a little bit of a drag and not really hit as well as it probably could have. Um which is kind of a bummer. It's weird because I wish it could be a little bit more scary or at least a little bit more threatening feeling. But I like the fact that it wasn't just jump scares all the time. So it's almost like it went too far in the opposite direction for me, I guess is what I'm saying. Um, and almost turns out to not really be a zombie movie at all, to me anyway. Um,
Yeah.
so I think that was kind of like my biggest thing was, what are you trying to be here? So not to
Kind of
say
an
I didn't
identity,
like it, but
a small identity crisis.
yeah, yeah. Or,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. So,
All right.
do you have
Well,
anything to add, or shall we?
I don't think so. I don't think so. Let's do our final thoughts and verdicts.
Okay.
My final thought is I like just the premise was fresh enough to me that I haven't seen this in a zombie type film, so I was excited to see how that played out. You know, we have characters that know what they're dealing with. They're not trying to, like, it's not the middle of the beginning of an outbreak. They're familiar
The
with
whole
what's
point
going on.
isn't a mystery. Like, it's not
They
solving,
know how
figuring
long.
out
They
why.
know once they're infected how much time they have left. They know there's no cure. And then it's like, what do you do with the time that you have remaining? So it's really interesting to see, like, what's going to see a person struggle with, my wife is dead, and now I have to find someone to care for my child because I'm going to die, So it's like, I need to find someone to
How
take care
stupid
of
was
them.
it that he got bit by his own wife?
Yeah.
That was really dumb. I was like,
yeah.
Did you just like throw both of your arms in there and say, "Bite me, please"?
Yeah, it's like the whole thing, like you're blinded by your feelings for this person, that they're going to be okay and that things are going to turn out better, and you just leave yourself in a vulnerable situation,
Yeah.
So for me, it was a positive. I have positive feelings overall for it. Is it the best movie I've ever watched? Is it the best zombie movie? Is it the scary? It's not a scary movie. I'd say it has some elements of suspense, but overall, I feel positive about it, and I would recommend this to people.
I'd agree. I think I am a little bit biased because at the end I did have some strong feels. I won't lie. It didn't really bother me throughout most of the movie until the end where he actually does succumb, because we knew he was going to, but the fact that like he didn't make it all the way to the end of the journey, and
I thought he was going.
Didn't have a chance to sit down and say goodbye properly or anything like that. So they're definitely, I mean, like you said, as a father, I think that imparts some biasness to it, and I would recommend it. But I don't know how interesting it would be to people who don't have a family, I guess, or people who don't care about that type of thing, I suppose.
Yeah.
So, because if you're looking for a zombie movie, then I don't think you're going to really be too excited about this one. It's not 28 Days Later or anything like that where you really feel like there's danger. It's more of just a weird family movie that's happening in the context of a zombie outbreak. So that said, if you're looking for horror or zombie, I wouldn't recommend it. But if you're okay with the fact that it's not your typical zombie movie and it's not going to have a ton of gore and blood in it, then give it a watch.
There you go. I like it. I'd agree. I agree with that.
It's the Fluxtaposed seal of approval right there.
As always, we'll pick another Netflixation far too long and way too late. But first episode of August, we will do our next Netflixation, and let's try to announce that next week. We'll try to pick a film and we'll announce it next week.
Do it
on the podcast for everyone. Now let's take an overclocked remix break. Can we do that? I'd like to do that.
Let's spinning the whale.
As always, we like to feature a random remix from ocremix.org. The front page of the last, I think it's like 20 submissions, show up on the front page. Lucas randomly selects one with his patented and proven Fluxtaposed randomizer. Maybe next time we do a giveaway, you'll see the randomizer in action there too. Lucas, do you have our selection this evening?
I do. It's number 19, which is Street Fighter Alpha 3. So you're going to have to scroll down a little bit. Yeah.
Grown version 77?
Yes, whatever that means.
Grown version 77. All right. As the randomizer has deemed, our remix tonight is going to be coming from Street Fighter Alpha 3. It is called Grown version T7. Hey, good news, folks. I looked at the time. It's only 3 minutes and 40 seconds. It's not a 10-minute remix.
How do we keep getting those ones?
I don't know.
It's so crazy.
I don't know. Our remixer is Rukenetsu Hoirukira. And again,
were you just doing Street Fighter moves or saying someone's name? Because
I was saying both. Street Fighter Alpha 3 was released by Capcom in 1998, which is ARC, so I believe that's going to be the arcade system, right? ARC arcade, get it?
Oh.
And this is also features music from Street Fighter 2 Turbo, 1994, by Capcom. This is the song. The song from the game is Thailand Akuma Matata. So
what a wonderful phrase.
Street Fighter, that's the thing. So feel free to check out this remix. We're going to play it for you now. There's all these other remixes at Overclock Remix. It's ocremix.org. I talk about it every week. I was listening to, hey, if you don't want to just pull up YouTube, you can go to rainwave.cc, and they stream remixes all the time. If you're on a web browser, you can like vote for the ones you want to hear. You can request ones you want to hear. So that's cool. But they have a tune in is a mobile app, and you can stream them on your phone. So I was grilling. I was standing in my kiddie pool. Oh, I forgot to tell that what you're playing. I revolutionized grilling, people. I revolutionized grilling. It was too hot, so I put down the kiddie pool. I was standing in the nice cool water, grilling. It was great. I got people on my Facebook replying back to me, doing it too. I'm starting a trend. I'm going to show up on BuzzFeed tomorrow. You watch. Like life hacks. I'm going to be there. But I was streaming some OC Remix, standing in my kiddie pool, grilling some burgers.
You should just you should design shoes that are to be filled with water so that wherever you go, you can be soaking your feet.
So they'll be like water socks, but not.
Right.
Okay. Well,
water.
I'm going to think about this, and we're going to play this remix, and we'll come back with some what you plan, and maybe even a community grab bag from none other than Dan Anthony himself. So you want to stick around for that. Lucas?
Yes.
The floor is yours.
Okay, so Jason left during that musical interlude, and now it's just me. So, oh, here he is. Oh, thank God! I thought I was gonna have to do the show, and I was so scared. You came back in literally the nick of not time.
I'm back.
I've been alone for
Never
5
fear.
seconds.
I'm back.
Oh,
Oh my gosh, my dog's freaking out at fireworks now.
do you want me to give him a suplex?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Sorry about that. How long did you have to freestyle for?
Oh, dude, 5 seconds.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Sorry about that.
I
Sorry,
started
gang.
talking, and then you were starting to sit down. So I was like, oh, okay, cool.
I wanted to catch my wife before she went to bed, and then, yeah, then the dog started freaking out, and yeah.
Okay.
So I'm back.
I'll
I'm
let
back
it
now.
slide this time.
I'm back. I'm back, and I'm ready to talk. So what you plan?
Now it failed us. Now
This
is the
app
time that it failed.
Has failed me for the last time, Commander.
I don't think it has. I think I'm just gonna keep using it until.
Yeah, I know. Each week you'd be like, "That's it. I'm not using this again," and then it doesn't work again.
I don't. Yeah. I don't. It's funny that it worked for the part that it usually doesn't work for. Let's see if I can get anything else to. That does. Maybe it's just the. Maybe it's this board. Yeah, it doesn't like the soundboard for what you're playing. Lame. Well, then I'll just go.
Wolverine. Wolverine.
Oh God. Oh, it's something played. We got one.
Yes.
I was just literally clicking through.
You get another one?
And nope,
No,
that
that's
one
it.
works
All right.
though.
Well,
Wow. Okay, so just one, the best one.
just give me one more.
Hey, listen.
No, just give me that.
Oh, a little okay go.
Yeah.
Okay, go!
Perfect. Now I feel fulfilled. As for myself, this
glad I could
past
fulfill you.
week, we finished Flint Town, which I really enjoyed.
Nice.
I didn't think I was going to enjoy that to the level that I did, but it was good. Flint Town was good. And then we jumped right into that to continue we got to keep learning about the judicial system and everything goes wrong with it, I guess. Now we're watching the confession tapes, which is also on Netflix.
Okay.
I think that's like an 8-episode series where it profiles some cases where the person that was convicted was felt either pressured or coerced or intimidated into giving a confession, whether truthful or not. So far in the episodes I've watched, it seemed apparent that the person did not commit the crime, and they were just kind of forced into confessing that they did. Unfortunately. So that's been an interesting
crazy.
watch. And I watched Hereditary. Once saw that.
Yes.
That's a popular movie. That's like a very what the F type of movie.
Yes, it
But
is.
we both really enjoyed it. Saw it
Oh,
like
good,
first.
good.
Yeah, like Jess really likes Toni Collette. So I mean, and a lot of emotion in that role that she.
They set her up, I thought, pretty well, honestly. As far as like you kind of turn, not to be too spoilery, but you kind of turn on that character a little bit.
Yeah.
Or
true.
at least it sets you up to do that, whether or not you I guess I should say you could see why somebody wouldn't believe her. You know what I mean? Why her husband would be
what's the production company behind that?
A24 is the studio. I don't know.
Studio, that's what I want. A24. Yeah.
They're hitting it out of the park, dude.
Yeah, I can't say there's a movie that they've produced that I haven't enjoyed yet. I mean, like everything I've seen that they've been involved with has been.
They do a
good.
lot of horror. Well,
Yeah.
let's see. It Comes at Night, which
I haven't watched that yet. I've been meaning to.
No.
been meaning to watch that for a while.
The Witch, Hereditary, Lady Bird, Moonlight,
Yep.
First Reformed, which I had yet
I haven't
to see.
seen Moonlight.
Me either. It's on my list. The Disaster Artist,
I
Ex
still need to see that.
Machina, The Florida
I like that.
Project,
I
Killing
like
of a
that.
Sacred Deer. I was supposed to go see, but I didn't. Room, which was good. Green Room.
God, they're doing this movie that's coming out called Eighth Grade that I've heard really good things about too. Of course, they're involved with that too.
Good
God.
lord. See Swiss Army Man and then see what you think.
Oh
They did
gosh.
Spring Breakers and Tusk, so they do have a few stinkers. They can't all be good.
Wow, that's just like
But they're
I
pretty
want
strong.
to watch A Ghost Story. It looks pretty good.
Yeah, I wonder. These must be in order of popularity because getting into ones I don't know what they are.
It Comes at Night. I do want to see. I always get that title confused with A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night.
And It Follows. You know who else comes at night?
Dude, It Follows was so good.
This guy.
God,
I'm
gross.
sorry, that was gross. I mean, technically, it's nighttime right now. Are you telling me something I don't want to know?
Yeah, yes. The Lobster. I didn't get through that one. That was another one, but
I liked The Lobster. It was weird, but I did end up liking it. By the time
they do.
it came to
They
me.
do. They do. Remember that one? I like too. Yeah, we only made it through the weird the butt humping part, and then we're like, Jess is like, "Oh, I'm done with this one." I was like, "Okay."
I don't even remember the butt humping.
We'll talk about it. I'll give you. I'll explain off.
I'll show you how it works later.
Oh gosh, they did. Okay, I know you said they did Green Room, but they did Room as well. Wow.
Yeah.
Man, and the list just keeps going. I keep expanding, and there's more.
You need to. Should I just do mine? What you playing while you look at it?
The Captive. The Captive was good. I like that too.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
There's a lot. There's good stuff there. But yeah, it's still playing in theaters. Go see it. It's very good. Very good film. Hereditary.
Good.
And beyond that, the only thing I've played, man, is the Octopath Traveler demo.
Are you done with it?
No, I haven't. I have only sunk like maybe an hour and a half, if that much into it.
So you're almost half done.
Yeah, I went through and had like the first boss encounter with my starting character, and now I'm like back to the town area, so I'm assuming I can do a little bit more, and then, I can't. That game's gonna be awesome. If Famitsu, which is like one of the very popular Japanese publication, has scored it. I think they gave it a 36 out of 40.
What a dumb scoring system.
Well, they have a bunch of other people that they have 4 individual people that gave it a 9 out of 10, and then they just combine that. That's where it comes from. That's why it's a 36. So yeah, otherwise I would say a 36 out of 40 is stupid, but
it makes sense when you explain it. But
yeah, it's gonna be a good game. And unfortunately, what I'm disappointed I didn't play is because I had a perfect opportunity. I could have played this. I think it was Friday night last weekend. I ended up playing Fortnite, but I've been in the beta for a game called Icon's Combat Arena, which is a platform fighter. It's coming out on Steam, early access the 12th, I believe. It is free to play, and so it's a Smash Brothers type game, and it's made by the same team that made the Project M mod for Smash Brothers Brawl. So I think it's got a pretty good following set up to it, but I got into the beta like a few weeks ago, but unfortunately the servers were only ever up on Wednesdays because they're trying to test it, have people on at the same time.
Yeah.
I can't play because it was up until only maybe I think it was like 10 o'clock Eastern time. So I just went ahead of time. And then the past couple of weekends, they've had the whole weekend available, but I just didn't think if to play it. I really don't think playing with my 360 controller is that good for those type of games. So I guess since it's on Steam, I'll probably have to get my Pro controller synced up. But I'm looking forward to trying, checking it out once it comes out. Get my Smash Bros fix before December.
Yeah, before you put everything down, and then.
That's right.
Well, I don't know if you're going to have Octopath Traveler done by that point, though. If they're saying, what did they say, 60 to 100 hours or something like that, or 80 to 100?
Hey, I got Zelda done before my son was born, so.
That's true. I
mean, I put 30 hours into Hollow Knight in a couple of weeks, so I mean, it's possible.
When you have determination, you can get things done. I guess.
I walk the path of the warrior.
Ooh, I like that. Speaking of which, should I regale you of tales of my?
Yeah, that's it, man. That's it
I'm only gonna just talk about the same games I've been talking about for the past 3 weeks.
Great. That's fun.
So once again, I tackled another DLC on Fallout New Vegas because I'm pretty close to the end of the game, I think. And if I don't do DLC now, I'm probably not going to come back and do them later.
Yeah.
So I did Old World Blues, and this one's weird. I didn't really like it that much, to be honest with you. Because you are taken to a place. I like the idea of it, but it ended up being kind of boring, and it was really difficult too, because I didn't build myself to do a lot of combat, and there was constantly robo scorpions, robotic scorpions that had tail lasers, and they shoot you. So you go to this place called Big Empty, and it's actually Big Mountain, but everyone read it as Big MT because Mountain MT. So that's its nickname, and it is referred to in the other DLC that I played, the Sierra Madre one. And it's basically just before the bombs dropped in 2077. They made a sort of almost like BioShock, a area where they could just do science of various natures inside of a plateau or a crater or something out in the desert.
So I hate to interrupt you here, but for being educated in Fallout, so is there always so the bombs fell. It's like 2077. Is that when the event happens?
Yes, that's when.
So when do the other what's the chronology here between?
God, don't ask me that question. I don't know. Well, in Fallout 4.
Because it's always like, oh, you just woke up your vault. You're coming out of your vault. It's like, but you just came out of your vault in the last Fallout game.
Well, because that's the thing, though. Some of the vaults, they all have different, because they were all basically their own test experiments. So, like, I ran into a vault that everything was decided by guns and violence. So everybody had a gun in this vault.
So I should just Google Fallout timeline.
That's pretty much what I'm looking at right now. But
is it as convoluted as Zelda?
No, because it goes in one direction, as far as I know. Well, the games don't, but there aren't like multiple realities and all this other crap.
Okay. Immediately I look at it, and it's like it has 11th content from the 11th, the 13th, the 17th, and 18th, 19th century. I'm like, what the hell is he?
Yeah, that's the first one I looked at too. I mean, basically what you're asking me is how do the games work out, right? Like, how are they in what order?
Okay, so Fallout, so they're all, like, some of them are set, okay.
Because I know in Fallout 4, you start the game and the bomb's just dropping. So you go into your vault, and then whenever you wake up is when you wake up.
Yeah, according to this Fallout wiki I'm on, so Fallout 76 is the earliest game in the timeline, which looks like right around shortly after 2100 is the year. And then Fallout begins, looks like 2160. Fallout Tactics.
Damn, so that's 100 years afterward, basically.
Fallout 2 is set in 2240. Fallout 3 looks like 2270 something. And New Vegas is shortly after, like 2280 something. And Fallout 4 is like 2288.
Damn.
Somewhere in there. So,
well, and I heard, because Fallout 76, some people were like, that doesn't seem like enough time to have all this weird, crazy stuff happening where you have like all these animals that have, changed and
well, the Great War took place in looks like 2078. So you've got 20 something years.
Well, the thing about war
never
changes.
Sadly, the only Fallout game that the game of Fallout I'm most familiar with is like the original, because I had a demo of it. And
yeah, dude, I used to play the crap out of that game.
Playing the demo, and I never had. I had Fallout 3, but I just didn't really give it a chance.
You can't do those open world ones where you wander around.
Except Zelda. So now that I've completely taken over what you playing, sorry for my.
Oh, that's fine. Dan asks, what is it good for? Meaning war. And honestly, I'd say absolutely nothing.
Oh, good answer.
Or it allows you to take over territory and expand your borders, as I've learned in Civilization 5, which I have not had a chance to play, really. But anyways, getting back to Fallout New Vegas, Old World Blues. We're talking DLC. We're talking about a place called Big Empty. It's a technological wonder of the world. But long story short, and I'm going to spoil the DLC for you. From what I understand, they were doing things that were pretty unethical, and one of the scientists had a change of heart and decided if these people get released into the new world that they can only create chaos because they have no real regard for humanity other than what new and horrible experiments can we do. So he decided to basically lobotomize them and trap them within basically Mr. Gutsy's. I think you would know what I'm talking about if you'd seen them. They're robots and monitors and stuff.
Okay.
And so you don't find this out until you've basically wandered in there. And so you wander in there and then you become lobotomized. And because you were shot in the head, you are the first person to actually survive the lobotomization. So during this entire time, you do not have a brain or a spine or a heart in your body. They've been replaced by technology. And so you can choose at the end whether or not you want to combine your heart, brain, and spine back into your body. But it was kind of science fiction-y silliness, goofiness, which was fine. But there was a lot of talking that I didn't really care about. And I'm at the point now where I'm just kind of like, I need to get this done. You know, I'm 45 or 50 hours in now, and
you're like, my time is limited.
Yes,
I want to play some other
DLC
stuff.
would have been fine when it first came out, and I had already beat the game and probably would have came back and played it. But now it's just adding on to an already lengthy playtime, so that I kind of am growing weary of. So I have to be careful. But I'm trying to wrap things up now. I'm going back to the main story, and I'm getting back into there. So I'm hoping that by next week I can just say I've beat the game and we'll talk about it from there. The other thing that I've been playing though, and the more I think about it and the more I play it, the more I've been having fun with it, like crazy amounts of fun, is Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle. This game, I don't know what it is about it, but the more stuff I unlock and the more abilities. Right now my team is Mario, obviously, Rabbid Mario, and Luigi. I'm digging Rabbid Mario because I love that shotgun.
Yeah.
And the vamp powers.
Yeah, he's really good at tanking. Like, what he's best for, I didn't really start to use it later on, is once you can get the upgrades for him, because you can get a ton of health for him.
Yeah.
And then you basically just have him go into a group of enemies, use his attack his ability that lures them all in, and then just blow them all to hell.
Yep. And I mean, he's dangerous. You almost have to. He's a demolition man, basically.
And you said Luigi was your third?
Yes. Yeah. I love me a good sniper, and I love Luigi.
I think I probably my probably most used was Mario, Luigi, and Rabbid Luigi, because he has that vampire skill. That was really he uses it off his slide attack. So you would hit them in melee, and you would hit them with the vampire ability. Yep. And then everyone else can shoot him and get health. So because I didn't really like, I used Rabbid Peach a bit, but I didn't really care for Peach all that much, just because the shotgun was a little limiting. But man, with Mario and Luigi, when you both use their Overwatch skill, and you just especially with Luigi, you can use it you can use it 3 times?
3 times maximum, and you can also lower his down to recharging after 1 turn.
I mean, Luigi can do so much damage. It's just so nice.
Yeah. So that's kind of been my main party, and I just finished the second world, and I'm into the third. The spooky trails, or whatever it's called.
I'm tempted to get the DLC for that, but I'm not in a hurry to get it either.
I think I will. I find myself thinking about this game when I'm not playing it, which doesn't happen to me very often, but because it has that board game feel to it, I start thinking about like character combinations and
how is the game experience for you? Because you've come from a background with XCOM. another strat. I mean, you've played XCOM, you played Shadowrun. You're familiar with this genre.
The turn-based. I where I would say like Shadowrun is kind of the middle of the ground, where they went a little bit more simplified in the presentation and stuff, whereas like XCOM can get pretty complicated with, you know, your damage changes for how far away you are, and your ability to hit is constantly changing depending on certain factors. Shadowrun, it was a little bit more simplified than that, but still had certain things. And of course, it gets complicated with magic and stuff too. This, I think, is simplified, but in a good way, where they simplified the things that aren't really that fun. Like if your damage changed over the amount of distance that you were, that only happens with like the shotgun, and it's very obvious that that's what's happening. So there's just things about it that I find more enabling, and the whole movement system is just fun. At first, I didn't think I was going to like it, but when you start chaining together a slide hit and then jumping off one of your teammates and then stomping another guy and then moving into position to be able to shoot like one of those shield carriers, that I like a lot. Like the movement game and being able to position yourself. So I find it to be, even though, you know, you could argue, oh, it's just like XCOM, but for kids, it can be quite difficult sometimes, actually.
Especially the challenge mode.
Well, in the Spooky Trails, you get these teleporting characters that don't...
Oh, gosh, yeah.
They're terrible. They don't make the Overwatch go off. Ow, that was my bad. The Overwatch go off and, you know, stuff like that. So when you really rely on that type of thing in your game plan, you have to kind of switch it up. And there have been times where, even though I like my loadout for my team and the characters I'm using, I've had to change them out to be able to get extra healing, or because I might have too many shotgun people on my team, or, you know, something like that. For instance, there's a boss battle where I had Luigi on my team in the second world, and the boss takes Luigi and freezes him.
Yeah. Yep.
So I couldn't use him, and then that left me with 2 shotgun people, because Peach comes in and she has a shotgun, and it's her first time that you get to play as her, so I didn't even know how she worked or anything. So then I had to take Rabbid Mario out of there, and just to kind of open up my options a little bit. So stuff like that has been kind of fun. I don't think I
ever used Yoshi at all.
I have not gotten that far, so I couldn't.
Yeah, you get him later in the game, but I never used him.
Well, it feels like you've already. It feels like you've already invested so much into certain characters, especially when you decide kind of what you like as a party, that you don't really want to move away from them that much. And I do find it interesting that they don't give you a lot of money. They give you just enough to do like a couple of upgrades here and there, but every character has 2 weapons to upgrade. So when you're only getting like $1,000 per battle or 1,200, and then your weapons start costing that much, you're just like, all right, well, guess I'll wait to upgrade my whole team.
You never really feel like you had to be very selective with your upgrades either, because like eventually I feel like you get enough points where you can just get everything you wanted.
Yeah, as long as you do the challenges and stuff, and you're finding the chests and stuff, it is becoming a little bit... I'm getting to that point in the curve where it's kind of difficult at first because you don't have anything unlocked, but then you are starting to get like... It's almost... I don't want to say too easy, but you definitely have a lot more options available.
Too easy.
Yeah, come back when you get better.
Good.
So yeah, this is probably one of my favorite games on the Switch right now, and possibly so far that I've played. You know, I liked Zelda Breath of the Wild, but there's a gameplay loop happening here that I find quite enjoyable. So
yeah,
that's really it's really easy for me to just jump into this game and then jump out of it, and that's kind of why I bought it, because I was hoping to be able to easily play it, be able to put it down if I need to.
Yeah.
And then I was so tired over the weekend doing these damn floors that I had expected to get some gaming in and possibly get farther in New Vegas. But instead, I was so tired, I didn't feel like doing anything really. So I ended up watching. I got on Netflix. I'm like, I wonder if maybe I should watch something that's been slowly dying in my to watch list. And then I saw Glow season 2 had came out at some point, and I was like, all right, I'm just gonna watch that because I liked season 1. I thought it was pretty good, but I thought there was more that could be done there. And I think season 2 is actually better. Like I jokingly said to you, it's 80s, it's girls, and it's leotards. Like, how can I in wrestling? So how can I say no to that? But
well, if their season 1's any measuring stick, they give you a lot more than that most of the time.
There are a lot of butt shots.
So, a lot of butt and others. So
Mark Maron does a really great job in this. I mean, he plays his character to a T. It's great. And you learn a lot about his character because did you watch the first season?
Yep.
All of it? So like, what happens towards the end of that season with another character. And that if
I can remember it, it's a bit fuzzy, so I'm probably gonna have to do some reading.
Yeah, just look it up. I when I started watching, I was like, I kind of forgot what was happening, but I got back up to speed by the time the second episode rolled around. But this gets good around the third or fourth episode. Like, it's fine at first because you're just getting settled back in, but then some like character stuff starts happening, and I thought they presented it pretty well. And I don't know, I find it charming, almost like *Halt and Catch Fire* kind of charmed me. Not quite that good, but they're 30-minute episodes, so they're easily
that always helps,
easily binged. And so I finished it. I'm done with season 2 already. I finished it 2 nights ago.
Dang, you and Donnie just crushing it.
Yeah, well, again, 3 episodes, half-hour length. It's good stuff. The character stuff gets more complicated, and it's not just about like, how are we going to put on a show, but it's also about that too. Or how are we going to become wrestlers? It's interpersonal relationships, which are always fun. So I would recommend it if you liked season 1. I think only season 2 only gets better. So I would definitely recommend it to watch. And that's what I was playing, dude.
Nice. I like it. That's a good list.
Thank you.
I don't know. I'm assuming we'll watch season 2 Glow. I don't know when, but we got enough stuff going on now.
I don't blame you. I pretty much sat down and watched it because I was like, 30-minute episodes. I bet I could finish this.
Yeah, that helps. Sometimes it's nice not to have something that's 50 minutes.
That's why
every show is like an hour long now.
The Marvel stuff, sometimes it doesn't really feel like it needs to be maybe 40 to 45. But
yeah,
all of it's an hour long. It's like, dang.
Hey, guess what? We have a community grab bag entry tonight.
What is those? What are those?
I know. Dan, I don't know if you're still in chat or not. You've been hanging out with us a lot this episode. We appreciate it, but we have. Dan has blessed us once again with some internet gold.
Wow.
And he even used the hashtag. My hashtag Q for F this week. What is your first instinct when you see, I am putting quotations around, see alien lasers? This was from 8 News, WRIC in Richmond. And
on the scene.
Police, quoting police, pair high on bath salts fired a gun at fireflies, mistaking them for alien lasers.
What? Damn, I gotta get me some bath salts apparently.
So that's an improvement, because last time people were on bath salts, they like tried to like eat somebody's face, and then police had to shoot them like 6 times. So, this is in Clinton County, Pennsylvania. So, suspected bath salts, green lasers, and fireflies. State police say they're all part of the story that put 2 people in jail. Can
you use your announcer voice, like your anchorman voice?
The Human Torch was denied.
Troopers say 30-year-old
Jesse Shields and 22-year-old Catherine McCloskey were high on suspected bath salts during a bizarre chain of events early Saturday morning. According to investigators, the pair from Clinton County had a bad trip and thought that fireflies were green lasers coming from aliens who were after them. No, well, Lucas, I don't know what about you, but I haven't had any chasing after me recently.
No, me either. I guess
That's
I
why we
just need to
built the wall. Ho, 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 ho.
Oh, political. I like it.
State police say Shields fired his revolver in the air to scare away the lasers and then ran to a nearby home on Long Run Road Township, where he asked the homeowner to call the cops because something was chasing them.
Why,
So,
if you know bath salts are gonna mess you up, why would you have access to a revolver? That just seems like a bad idea. Like, you know what I mean?
well, this is America,
That's
so
true.
you're gonna have access to those things. Okay.
I would expect this. I wouldn't expect this coming from Pennsylvania. That seems.
Yeah, I mean, this
Come
is
on,
usually
Pennsylvania, you're better than that.
this stuff's usually reserved for Florida.
Where's Florida man when you need him?
So
You know what? What if this actually happened and they got Men in Blacked, you know, with the little laser pen thing? Will Smith came in.
what if it's legit?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, exactly.
One of the things that still stuck with me, I listened to the podcast Lore, and he talks about, different creepy stories and events from various time periods.
Yeah.
And one was like about an alien abduction story from the 50s.
Mhm.
I think, about this couple that was abducted and then like they'd experienced, and it was like it takes me straight back to like what watching to the fire in the sky.
Fire in the
makes you
Sky
feel.
is always
Like makes you feel by watching that.
Yeah.
From reading it, it was just like, oh man. So that stuff's no joke.
Thankfully,
Like it's
I
the same
watched
thing.
that
Like
movie
the whole
when I
thing was like
10.
once they got to their destination, then they discovered they had lost like 7 or 8 hours and they had no idea what
Bath salts
happened. Yeah.
They were the
So.
first ones to discover bath
Yeah.
salts. Wow.
So
All right, I
There you
say
go.
that this pair, meaning you and me, need to try bath salts together, and we'll see.
yeah,
what kind
I
of
mean,
hijinks we get
I've done a
into.
lot of laser tag, so I feel like my training is on point.
That's
to
true,
this.
and I've played some VR games, and that obviously translates directly to real life.
I haven't played Link's Crossbow Trainer though. I feel like that would.
Ooh,
Really
I
help
have
me
that
in this.
one. You know what? Why don't you come over? We'll spark
I
up
can't
the
do
bath. That's too much commitment already.
Yeah.
We'll spark up some bath salts. get the
You
bath
guys
salts
have a
going.
Patreon goal that makes you do that very same thing.
Okay, if we get $200 a month, we'll spark up the bath salts for episode.
Yeah, Dan
300.
says episode 300.
Yeah.
Strike up the bath salts, and we're gonna shoot lasers.
I think that's.
eyeball.
I think.
Can we
that's
do?
something-
Can we butt chug some beers too?
Oh gosh, before or after the bath salts?
At Electric Forest.
I think I think that the bath salts are going to be the end of the night activity, because once that happens, I'm pretty sure it's going to go off the rails. Uh-oh, Jason's listening to the voices.
I could. Sometimes you hear phantom voices.
La Fantôme. La
You know,
Fantôma.
you think you hear somebody calling you. The worst is when you're home here by yourself and you think you hear phantom children.
Well, that's just
really
me going,
creepy.
Jason, I'm
So-
going to get you.
Dan, sometime you need to teach us how you find all of this stuff, because you have the best. Must have the best social media subscriptions.
He's the man on the street, eye in the sky.
He's the man on the street. It's true. Artie Pie, wasn't that the guy in Artie Pie? on The
in the
Simpsons?
sky. I don't know, but probably.
Well, the
sometimes.
101's really backing up on my. Yeah, whatever.
Lacking on
Well,
the content.
How about, speaking of backing up, how about we
Yes.
back up and get out of here?
Well, you know what? I have a special song for you because it's America Day.
Hopefully I can hear it.
Hopefully it'll play. So just let's go ahead.
I hope it's from Team America.
I think it's gonna play. You read my mind. You know how I do.
Freedom cost a buck or fair.
What would you do?
This song is so great.
Guys, on this 4th
What
of July,
would you do?
if you're American, if you're not American, I don't blame you for not caring about our independence. But we ask you just have a safe 4th of July. You're probably already listening to this after 4th of July. So if you blew off your fingers, then, well, let's just say you can only do that once. Because
Yeah,
you
right.
don't have any more fingers. So, just have a safe 4th of July, and don't blow your fingers off. And praise, praise Merkel.
I hope someone goes so meta and joins our Patreon at $1.05 a month.
He's so patriotic. I'm gonna give him
amazing.
$1.05.
$1.05. So as always, we want to hey, check if you like the show. You want to say, hey, maybe I want to throw some skrill at these boys. Patreon.com/Fluxtaposed. That's how you can do it. And as always, we like to end our episode by saying thank you to all of our patrons, but a special thanks to our Arbiters of Awesomeness, including our newest Arbiter of Awesomeness, Mr. Kyle Heyman himself from Play Some Video Games.
Welcome to the
with
cool
video
club.
games. The Lord of the Isles. Kyle, thank you so much. You're awesome, dude. You might win a t-shirt. Kyle. Edwin Callow, Tyler Ella, Nathan Horton, and of course our executors of excellence, Josh Barboni, Dan Anthony in the chat. He made it the whole episode. Dan, look at you, don't even have to play catch up because now you're current. You heard this episode before anybody else. You should be proud of yourself.
And that's a beautiful thing.
Because I'm damn proud of you. When I heard that you were retiring from Madden, that's a damn shame. You were one of the best owners that league had.
It's the end of an era.
You're one of the best, man. And of course, Siri Renee. So hey, thank you all for watching. Thank you for listening.
Take us out
next week. Fireworks are going off. Kapuya, kapuya. 4th of July. Freedom costs $1.05.
Freedom costs $1.05.